NBA quick takes, Lego. Stephen A., best player under 22 you would build around?
Luka Doncic. Look at what he does. And at 6'7", with his ball handling skills, his passing ability, his shot making ability, his ability to perform in the clutch. I mean, he's got guys like Kawhi Leonard looking like they're hesitant to guard him. He's talking smack in Slovenia or whatever the hell it is. That's the dude I'm going with. He's a winner.
Max, did the Clippers make a mistake keeping Ty Lue instead of Doc Rivers?
No, I don't think so. And let's see what kind of adjustments Ty Lue makes in this series. Doc Rivers is a great coach. He's won a championship. But all reports out of L.A. were like he and the Clippers just didn't seem that interested in each other anymore. And Ty Lue is an excellent choice to replace him. I think it's way too early to say that that was a mistake.
Stephen A., tell me this. Will the Clippers blow it up if they lose this series?
I think they will. I think they'll have no choice because of Kawhi. Because I think Kawhi's going to skip town on them. And this is the man that said, I'm not coming to town unless you trade the farm to get me Paul George. And if you don't, then I'll go to the Lakers and join LeBron and AD. That's what he did to the Los Angeles Clippers. And now if they don't win, he might skip out on them. So in light of that reality, you either convince him to stay or you blow everything up and just move on.
Move all the way to Seattle, maybe. Let's see what happens.
Right. Let's get to the other LA squad. They're up 2-1, now making easy work of the Suns, obviously with a banged-up CP3. AD dropping 34 again. Big Perk back here with us. Stephen A., I'll start with you. Do you think the Lakers are going to repeat?
Stephen A.
Me?
Lakers? Yeah.
You're asking me? No, they're not. I don't know if KD and LeBron are healthy enough. And I think that, let me be very, very clear. I think that KD, Kevin Durant, is the greatest offensive weapon in the game. I think that he is the one player that no team has an answer for at all. The Lakers don't have an answer for him. Utah doesn't have an answer for him. Milwaukee, Philly, the Clippers, Dallas, Denver. I don't give a damn who it is. He's the one dude there is absolutely positively no answer for. Kyrie Irving is a showstopper. He's going to get his. James Harden's doing what he's doing, sure. But KD is that dude. You could possibly figure out the others in some capacity, somehow. But there's no figuring out KD. And that's why I believe that the Lakers are not repeating, because I believe no matter what LeBron and AD throws your way, I think KD is going to be standing there, waiting, and he gonna give it to everybody. There's no answer for this brother. That's the only reason I feel this way.
Yeah, Perk.
Well, I disagree, and I think the Lakers are going to defend their titles. It's just like boxing, Max. Let me jump in your element, right? Styles make fights, okay? The way that styles make fights. And you look at the greatest to ever do it, in my opinion, and Floyd Mayweather, everyone kept saying every single time he jumped in the ring that, oh, this guy's going to whip him. Oh, I got this guy taking Floyd down. And especially like when he fought Canelo Alvarez, right? They were saying Canelo is bigger, he's stronger. But what did Floyd do? He used it to his advantage. He made Canelo weigh in the day of the fight. And what I'm saying is, when you look at the Lakers, they make you play their style of basketball. Now they're playing old school basketball where they're going to punish you in the inside. They're going to slow down the pace. They're going to make it a half-court game, and no one in the league is physical enough to compete with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and even Drummond when he's playing his best. And I love the way that Frank Vogel is using Marc Gasol. So when you look at the Lakers, they're the most stingiest team on the defensive side of things. You got Dennis Schroeder and Alex Caruso being pests at the guard position. You have Caldwell Pope, Wesley Matthews. Those guys are being feisty. They're into you. You have rim protection. You have a guy that could arguably win Defensive Player of the Year every single year in Anthony Davis. They make you play their style. And when you look at the way the Lakers adapt, and just think, last night, they scored 43 points at half, but the Suns only scored 40. The Suns scored 12 points in the second quarter. It's no other team in the NBA that's doing that on the defensive end. So when I look at it, AD LeBron James, 58. The Lakers had 58 points in the paint. Anthony Davis and LeBron James had 38 of those points. They're just too strong, too dominant, and they're too good defensively.
Perk, you're wrong. Stephen A. is right on this one. And you talk about Floyd, and people said this and that. Floyd was always the favorite, and his timing was very good. He knew when to play dudes. The timing may be right to play the Lakers, but that's not the reason that the Nets will win. The reason the Nets will win is also not just because of KD. If it's KD and Kyrie, they ain't winning. It's real. The simplest way I can put it is the Lakers got 2 of those dudes. The Nets got 3. They got too much. But offensively, it's crazy because as I keep pointing out, the Houston Rockets, when LeBron was waving the white flag before the series ever started, Stephen A. talking about he's giving concession speeches, looking at the Warriors, KD and Steph and Clay and Dre and Iggy. It's too much. We don't have enough, right? Don't believe you. You need more people. And he was like giving concession speeches. The Rockets almost beat him without Chris Paul. They played a Game 7 in Houston because they were playing D'Antoni style, which everyone says can't win, but in fact can do a lot more with a lot less. Now this Nets team, Perk, with D'Antoni on the bench, run by James Harden as the point guard, is basically that Rockets team, but with that Warriors level of talent. There's nothing you can do to stop them. How are you going to stop them?
See, and Max, you know what's crazy is that you really just made my point. You just said that with a dynamic duo in Chris Paul and James Harden, that they almost beat the Warriors, and they probably would have beat the Warriors if CP3 didn't get injured.
Maybe. Yep.
So, and then you brought up D'Antoni's style of play, and that the Warriors couldn't adjust to that style of play. Didn't you just say that?
Not exactly, but you can interpret it that way. It's fair.
Okay, cool. So that's my point exactly when I talk about the Lakers and their style of play. A dynamic duo, the best duo since Kobe and Shaq, the way that LeBron James and Anthony Davis are able to dominate, can take on a 3-headed monster, and you just submitted and stamped my point by bringing up that Rocket situation.
Joe Harris is going to be wide open all series.
We all know if Chris Paul wouldn't have got injured, the Rockets were going to win.
Stephen A., I'll give it to you. Stephen A., I'll give it to you. I think the Nets can score 40 points in a quarter against anyone. Stephen A., I'll give it to you. You were the one who said Blake can still play. You were absolutely right. He can still play. I don't even talk about Blake Griffin on that team. The Nets have too much.
Let me tell you this. First of all, KP, that was Max with Houston and CP3. I've always been of the mindset, just for your edification, in case you were never on when we discussed it, I've never, ever, ever believed that the Golden State Warriors were going to lose that series to Houston. I always said that Golden State was going to win it in 7. No matter what Houston did, Golden State would do a little bit more. They did as much as was required to win that series that CP3 got hurt over the Rockets, and I still believe to this day they would have won that series. As it pertains to Brooklyn, I will say this to you. Here's what it's going to come down to. As you know this, KP, the game slows. It becomes a bit more physical. That's true. But 2 things that can offset that. Number 1 is perimeter shooting, which Brooklyn has. And number 2 is getting to the free throw line. And let me tell you something. They're going to make their free throws. Is LeBron going to make his?
All right. The last 3 times the Lakers won the title, by the way, guys, they ran it back the next year in the 80s, 2000, 2002, and that 2009, 2010. So history is on their side.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know it's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
In a scrappy battle in the West, Denver took Game 3 last night with a 5-point win over Dame Dolla and the Blazers in Portland. The Trailblazers struggled from beyond the arc despite Dame leading all scores with 37. Max Kellerman, I'm looking at you here. What is the story of the night for you on this one?
It's Jokic, and it's gotten to the point where people are talking about he shouldn't be the MVP because he's not an all-time great. Yes, he is. Jokic is playing at all-time great levels. He does it all the time. What was it last night? 36, 11, and 5 on 50% from the floor, better than 50% from 3 and perfect from the line. I mean, this dude is the most skilled, certainly combination of skills like passing, shooting, and he can also score down low ever. His passing is ridiculous. He's an all-time great passer and an all-time great player in his prime. He's going to win MVP, and he deserves it. And I think when we look at this series, without Jamal Murray, it's a shame he's not playing because who knows what Denver could do with Jamal Murray. The Aaron Gordon trade worked out great, and Jokic is making him a better player, and he's already very good. But I think it comes down to people believe that Damian Lillard is an all-time great in his prime and will make the Hall of Fame. And when it comes down to it, Dame will get past Jokic. I don't think so. I think when it comes down to it, Jokic is getting past Dame. He was the story of the game. He's the story of most games he plays in.
So you switching your pick? You picking Denver to win this series?
I'm not switching. I had Denver.
I thought you picked Portland. I picked Portland in 7. I thought you picked Portland in 7.
Denver in 7, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. That's not why I'm looking this way, Max. I'm not looking this way because I'm upset by anything you said. I'm looking this way because I'm depressed. I'm kind of hurt right now. You see, when I thought about that game last night, I wasn't thinking about Jokic. I was thinking about Austin Rivers.
It was good.
Austin Rivers, a really good guy, a good player who shouldn't have been sitting at home unemployed, waiting for his phone to ring before he had to accept a 10-day contract. Coming into the game last night in the fourth quarter, dropped 16 of his 21 points in the fourth quarter, 4 threes. Jokic said, Austin Rivers won the playoff game for us last night. Now, why would that depress me, Max Kellerman? Where the hell was Austin Rivers playing earlier this season? He was playing for the New York Knicks. He was playing for the New York Knicks. Austin Rivers could have been with the New York Knicks. Austin Rivers with the New York Knicks. They might be up 2-0 right now. Now, I understand that Austin Rivers had to go because contractually you got Derrick Rose up in there, so it facilitated Austin Rivers being pushed out the door. But when I think about that damn Alfred Payton and the way that he's been struggling, and how we got to take 32-year-old Derrick Rose, and we got to work him like a workhorse, and hope and pray that he saves the day. I think about how Austin Rivers could have been in the New York Knicks. That's what I was thinking about last night. When I watched Austin Rivers drill those threes, I said, he's supposed to be with us. He's supposed to be with us here in Atlanta right now, getting ready to reclaim home court advantage. Matter of fact, he wouldn't have had to reclaim it because if Austin Rivers was there somehow with Derrick Rose, they would have been up 2-0. That's what I was thinking about.
Someone get this man some help.
That's what I was thinking about. That's what I'm saying.
Is there a mental health professional in the Atlanta area? Get to Stephen A. Smith's studio right now. This man needs help.
Yeah, you're
the question was about the Nuggets and the Blazers. How do you turn this into the Knicks?
Because he was on the Knicks. He was on the Knicks this season. This season. Not last year, not 2 years ago. He was there this season. He was right there. He was right there. He would have helped us be up 2-0.
Anything else in life?
You can't.
I mean,
you can't.
People are starving. There's a lot of things happening.
He needs help.
Oh, my gosh.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing to listen to another episode of your favorite podcast. And with our top-rated app, you can deposit checks and transfer money anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
This week, the Knicks released the following statement after a fan was seen spitting on Trae Young. We investigated the matter and determined that this patron, who is not a season ticket holder, did indeed spit on Trae Young, and for that reason, he is now banned from the Garden indefinitely. We apologize to Trae and the entire Atlanta Hawks organization for this fan's behavior. This was completely unacceptable and will not be tolerated in our venue. We have turned the information over to the appropriate authorities. Also, coming out last night was the Jazz banning 3 fans. The fans made vulgar and racist comments to Ja Morant's parents, the father of the Memphis Grizzlies star guard telling ESPN. A statement from the Jazz cited one verbal altercation that occurred during Utah's 141-129 victory on Wednesday night in Game 2 of a first-round playoff series. Stephen A., I will start with you. Did the NBA come down hard enough on fan behavior?
I don't think so. I think they need to be a bit stiffer, a bit tougher, because I think that there is cause for concern. A dear friend of mine who's an executive in the NBA, been very, very well connected, has been a part of the NBA for the last 30 years or so, brought something to my attention that I had never thought about before, to be quite honest with you. I never put the pieces together, and I was really, really interested in coming on the show and sharing it with the both of you. Talked about the elements that exist that should heighten our level of awareness and concern as it pertains to the modern day athlete. And there's two things going on that can't be ignored. To a lesser degree would be the first one, gambling. If y'all recall, a little more than 18 months ago or so, that landmark decision by the Supreme Court basically lifting federal bans on sports betting in particular states. You couldn't gamble on sports outside really the state of Nevada. You just wasn't something that you were allowed to do. And the federal courts, the Supreme Court actually struck down a federal ban on sports gambling that prohibited betting on sports in most states. And since that, they left it up to the states. Well, what has happened? Not all states like Connecticut and California, they haven't legalized gambling on sports or whatever, but legislation has been proposed in some of those states, according to what I've read. But New York allows it. New Jersey allows it. Maryland allows it. Michigan allows it. Pennsylvania allows it. Delaware allows it. Illinois and Indiana allow it. Stuff like that. And so when you consider the fact that you can go into an arena like Philadelphia, somebody told me, and they said they wanted to get Wi-Fi. And just to get Wi-Fi, you had to get like a Bally's sports app or something like that on your phone just to be able to get the app. Well, what that does is it makes gambling easier and more accessible to the customer out there. So you go to a game instead of a casino and you just bet a few hundred, a few $1,000s or somebody or whatever, and then you see them messing up in the game, who knows how that could cause you to react. That's one element. Here's the bigger element that we've also ignored. Particularly since the passing of George Floyd's murder, since Derek Chauvin was convicted of murder, we all know that George Floyd was murdered. Think about the social unrest that took place over the last year. And think about how all of these athletes, particularly with NBA, WNBA, NFL athletes at the forefront. We've all spoken about the fact everybody hasn't embraced that. Matter of fact, millions upon millions of people have been against that. They think that athletes should shut up and play. They think they should stay in their place. They believe that politics should have absolutely nothing to do with the world of sports. We want to be entertained and we want to go home. We know all of this. This is the first time, because of COVID, that the fans have had an opportunity to be in front of these individuals. Molly, you made the adroit point of pointing out yesterday how it seems to happen to the black athlete. It's not the white athlete that's getting spit on, that's getting popcorn thrown at them or anything like that. It's the black athlete that has suffered from this. Well, it was the black athlete that was standing up and protesting for a righteous cause on behalf of us as a society, and particularly their community. There's a whole bunch of people that didn't like that, but wasn't close enough to them to react. Now there are. And that could be a reason why we're seeing some of the things that we're seeing. I want to hear y'all response to that.
I think those are two very interesting points. First, I'll say I think the league, although I'd like to know when the Knicks release a statement saying the appropriate authorities. Name the authorities. Do you mean the league? Do you mean the law? Because the league,
I would assume the law, Max.
Okay, me too, but I'd like to know explicitly. It didn't escape my attention either that this fan who spat on someone got the same punishment that Charles Oakley got for living, apparently, thrown out and arrested. But at any rate, I'll say this. When you ban a fan indefinitely, I think you've done your part. Now it's up to the legal authorities, right? And Trae Young said he didn't want to press charges. That's a menschy thing to do. Hopefully the guy's learned his lesson. Maybe Westbrook will want to press charges. But that, to me, Stephen A., is a legal issue separate and apart from the league. As I said yesterday, when you buy a ticket and enter arena, you have not exited civilization. You are still in you're still in the United States of America. It's not some special embassy that doesn't count as part of America, some foreign embassy where the rules are somehow different. You're subject to United States law, to the laws of the state in which that arena is. So, like, all that stuff should be obvious, right? And if someone wants to press charges, good for them. Behave yourselves like people, please. Fans, right? Like, you're not animals, you're people, and treat players as people also. Okay, that's one. But I want to address your point, Stephen A. I want to engage with that point. It's more interesting to me. I think that against the backdrop of what this country's experienced in recent years, you know, sports is a great diversion. And I think the greatest consumer product is entertainment because the stakes feel real, but in fact, they're trivial. The stakes are actually trivial. If your favorite team wins or loses, right? This is not 2,000 years ago where city-states are going to war. Washington versus Philadelphia, they're actually at war. The sports represents that sort of thing. My city's better than your city. But the stakes are actually trivial. But, Stephen A., when you count in things like the protests and civil unrest along racial injustice lines, when you factor in gambling, when people actually have money on the line, now the stakes feel realer. You know why? Because they are realer. And suddenly sports goes from, wow, this is an amazing almost drug that gives you the feeling of real world stuff. But in fact, it's okay. In the end, it's not going to change your life. Two, actually, this might be life changing. I have money on the line here. Actually, that athlete represents a larger political struggle that is actually real to me. And his winning and that team's winning means more power to the other side. I think those are things worth considering. I'm glad you brought it up.
They're very much worth considering. And I mean, when you consider, listen, the reality is that we live in a better society than what it used to be. And on many, many occasions, when I look at white America, I always say, if you're not prejudiced, if you're not racist, if you're not somebody who engages in a level of entitlement that's incredibly alarming, that you don't mind the discrepancy and the unfairness that exists for your race of people compared to black folks and other minorities in this nation, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about you at all. But we can't ignore the fact that there's a segment of our populace that when they look at the modern day athlete, they feel you have absolutely nothing to complain about. You're getting paid the exorbitant amount of dollars that you're getting paid. We don't give a damn about your humanity. Shut the hell up and do what you're paid to do, which is entertain us, and go on about your business. And the level of animosity and vitriol that's aimed in an athlete's direction, I think, has heightened since the whole social justice movement really took on a life of its own over the last year. And then the part about gambling, well, that's simple. I mean, if you go to gamble and you feel you losing money, you can point to a tangible target as the cause for your pockets being a bit thinner than they used to be an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier, whatever. That's going to elevate your level of animosity towards that person. So I think all of those things get taken into consideration, and that's why professional sports really, really need to hunker down on fan behavior now more than ever.
I just want to add this because I said this yesterday, that it's assault for throwing something at somebody, like throwing food, and it's battery for spitting on someone. And I think you brought up two excellent points, Stephen A., with the social justice movement and with the gambling aspect, but it's still unexcusable. I mean, I don't think there's a greater sign of disrespect than spitting on someone. Right. And I understand that Trae Young didn't want to probably deal with it and press charges, and I understand that and I respect that, but almost just for the principle of it, if it was me, I absolutely would. Just to show that
if it was Russell Westbrook, he would have.
And, and we won't, you won't stand for it. Max, did you want to add anything before I go?
This is.
I bet you if they asked Russell Westbrook would have had the dude thrown in jail. I bet you if they asked Russell Westbrook, he would have wanted that.
I would just second what you said, Molly. Like, this ain't hard. Yeah. This ain't, just behave like adults. Like, you get to sporting event, you can say that this guy stinks or whatever. Even when you cuss him out, if you don't make it personal. You know, as I think it was LeBron who said, there's a line. Everyone knows what the line is that you can't cross. You just wherever, behave like an adult. That's it when you go to an arena. And by the way, it's supposed to be family entertainment. There might be kids around. Use your head.
We're also assuming that people are reacting in the moment. It's entirely plausible that folks come to a game targeting a particular athlete because they don't like them. They literally bring the animosity with them. Some of them pay their tickets just to get at people that they don't like.
Well, they need to get a life.
And for people who are making racially targeted kind of comments towards players' families, what? I don't even know what to say to these people.
I assure you, they don't do that in a crowd of black people. I promise you they don't do that.
They shouldn't do it
I promise
ever.
you they don't do that.
Yeah. Little kids know not to do these things. Hey, I'm Molly Karen Rose, and you are listening to the First Take podcast. Credit Karma has always been there to help you make better financial decisions. And now they want to help even more. With a Credit Karma Money Spend account, you can be rewarded for good money habits. Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win cash reimbursements for making purchases. When you use your Credit Karma Money debit card, you can win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. Just pay with your debit card, and if you win, you'll be notified on the spot, and your instant Karma cash will be added to your spend account. Credit Karma Money has already given away over $3 million in instant karma to over 50,000 Credit Karma members and counting. Open your FDIC-insured spend account for free. Credit Karma Money. Progress starts here, right now. Visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and have the chance to start winning instant karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. Banking services provided by MVP Bank, Inc., member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know it's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
Giants quarterback Daniel Jones entering year 3 hopes to bring positive vibes to Giants fans everywhere when he spoke about this upcoming season.
I'm excited to get back out on the field. I think we've got a great group of guys coming in from last year, and then a few new pieces here and there. So I think it's about working together and building chemistry, getting on the field, and I'm excited. I think we have an opportunity to improve this spring and then keep that going into training camp.
Daniel, I'm excited too. I love year 3, Max. Year 3 is really when a quarterback gets things going. I'm feeling good, feeling convinced. Will this be Daniel Jones' best year ever?
Yeah, easily. I mean, look, first of all, he's in year 3, as you say. The offensive line hopefully finally is starting to improve. They'll have some time together. They have a little more talent on the line. Saquon Barkley is coming back. That's huge. Kadarius Toney, they drafted. He's a weapon. They have Golladay now joining Slayton and Shepard. They have guys who can really catch the ball, dynamic playmakers on offense. They have a defense. Apparently, according to one stat I saw, Daniel Jones had the best deep ball in the league last year, 20-plus yards.
Hey, talk to me.
And he had bad wheels last year. Remember, he was hurt. By the way, the bar is also not set that high. Like the best year of his career, if he's like a tick above average as an NFL starter, that's the best year of his career. Yes, he will have the best season of his career this season.
The best season of his career. So what are we saying? You know what I'm saying? That's like somebody getting in line, let me get in this tall line contest, you know what I'm saying? Let me get in this line for tall people, and the tallest person is 5'6" or something. I mean, really? That's what we doing? So we got Dak Prescott coming back. playing for the Dallas Cowboys. He'll be throwing the ball, by the way, to CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper with Ezekiel Elliott still in the backfield. Hopefully the offensive line has improved. You clearly have improved that defense with who you drafted. We got all of that. We got the Washington Redskins, one of the top-rated defenses in the NFL. We know they coming back, and they got a decent quarterback with Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're not just relying on Mr. Taylor Heineke, all right? It sounded like a muffler for crying out loud. We talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick, quarterback in this team, and Ron Rivera is still there, of course. But we're going to look at the Giants with Daniel Jones and talk about, oh, my goodness, he's in for his best season yet. Come on, y'all.
What is that
really,
you're not going to do,
saying?
Stephen A.? You're not going to sit on this show and hype the Cowboys to Max and I during this segment and rain on our parade after it's been a Knicks parade for the entire 2 weeks. And you're going to big up the Cowboys, Mr. Accident waiting to happen when we're having our moment.
You know what this funny part is about you, Molly? I'll give you credit where credit is due because you usually say something and then run the commercial break. At least this time you've given me an opportunity to respond to your rhetoric. Here's the deal. The New York Knicks are in the playoffs. Okay, the Giants are not. Number two, you two, not me, you two had your reservations about Daniel Jones. I almost never talk about Daniel Jones. Why do I care about him? It doesn't mean anything to me. Now, I like Joe Judge. I like Joe Judge a lot. I've applauded Joe Judge, but I'm not caught up in Daniel Jones. He's got some things to prove. I'm not trying to big up the Cowboys. I'm setting them up for the fall.
The question was,
we know that's coming.
Is Daniel Jones going to have the best season of his career?
His best season yet. His career. Okay.
But you know what? I'll talk about the NFC East for a second.
And what did I say to you? But what did I say to you? What did I say to you, Max?
I know it's a short person. Really, he's the tallest guy in a contest with all short people.
Look, his best season yet?
Look,
his best season yet?
That's fine. He could be a tick above that. If the Giants get a tick above average quarterback this year, if they get a bump, because, by the way, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a starting quarterback. He's spot starts. If he starts for more than 6 weeks or so, usually the other guy gets the ball, right? Okay, Dak Prescott doesn't have a defense.
Are you ready for this, Max?
The Eagles are a mess. The Giants are the best balanced team in the league, in the division. Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
I'm making a prediction that Daniel Jones will be the worst quarterback in the NFC East.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a bold prediction that he'll be the second best quarterback in a division of 4 quarterbacks.
These are great predictions.
He'll be the second best quarterback in the division. That's all the Giants will need.
I'm still annoyed, though, that he bashed the Giants and then he big up the Cowboys. When
the Giants have won 2 Super Bowls in this century alone.
Molly, I got news for you. Molly, I got
48 years old. I still haven't seen the Knicks win a championship.
What's your breaking news? That you like the Cowboys
Molly,
now?
No, I got breaking news for you. I really, really know how to annoy you. A whole lot worse. I can really do it. If you want me to really get on your nerves, I can really do it. I won't do it right now, but I can really, really do it. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
I'm just going to sip my
tea. With your Giants, UConn love, and some of the way the nicknames you throw. Jimmy G got a nickname because of you. Danny Dons, we never knew that until you, Molly. There's a few things I could get on your nerves about.
Just ride this Knicks thing. Because he's going to be feeling down in the dumps about the Knicks soon enough. Don't worry about it.
Ride the high.
And they're going to be an afterthought in New York.
As long as it's not the first round, I'm winning.
Let's go to the other Dallas team. I'm taking this one personally, Stephen A. You're right. The Dallas Mavericks shocking the world in this first round series, leading the Clips 2-0 and heading back to Dallas tonight for Game 3. Max, which player will take over Game 3 Clippers Mavs?
I'm going to leave Luka for Stephen A. Luka's amazing. You know, he's hitting those step back threes and stuff, and he's a great player. The answer is Rondo, because Ty Lue's a championship coach. He's going to make adjustments. And one of the things you have to do is not bury Rondo behind Reggie Jackson. And, Rondo's getting what, under 20 minutes a game? Rondo? What'd you bring him there for? You know why your fortunes haven't changed? Because Kawhi is still the point forward. No. You got to play Rondo, who, according to Rick Carlisle, is calling out the Mavericks' plays before they happen. This is why you have... Playoff Rondo is his name. It's not, there's some guys who get, it's by reputation. It's not in fact. In fact, it's verifiable. Whenever Rondo's in the playoffs, he rises from below average to an all-star. He's an all-star in the playoffs all the time. That's why he's there. And Ty Lue is going to have to play Rondo a lot in this game if they're going to win. I think he will, and they will. Rondo's the key player.
I don't blame you for bringing that, Max, because I think that's exactly what Ty Lue needs to do. But I got news for you. I hope I'm wrong because, again, I'm a fan of Paul George. I'm a fan of a lot of those dudes on the Clippers, especially their coaching staff. Ty Lue, Chauncey Billups, and the crew got mad love for them. I think they're on the verge of getting swept. They better win tonight. They better win tonight. And guess what they also better do to win tonight? They're going to have to stop Luka because I see fear in guys' eyes guarding this brother. He has been, I'm going to say it again, I'm sorry because I know we over FCC airway. He's been busting their ass. He really, really has. And he been giving it to them. He dropped 39 the other night. I know it wasn't Kawhi's 41, but damn it, he won the game. And they better figure it out because he coming tonight. He coming tonight. In Dallas, he will be there. And this is Texas. They're going to have a home crowd. They ain't going to have fake props up in the stands of the Staples Center. They ain't going to have that at the American Airlines Center. They're going to have real fans. They in Texas. They've been acting like there wasn't COVID for most of the year any damn way. They're going to be fans up in that building. Luka's going to be hyped. And he's going to go after Kawhi. He's going to go after Paul George. He's going to go after Marcus Morris. He's going to go after Beverly, Rondo, or anybody else in between. They better figure out a way to stop them. If the Clippers do not win tonight's game, the Los Angeles Clippers are getting swept. And I can't believe I'm saying that because I picked them to win this series. They're on the verge of getting swept.
Well, Dallas was my dark horse before the season began for a variety of reasons. Of course, foremost among them, Luka, who even if you try to stop him, Stephen A., from scoring, which is hard enough to do, he makes players around him better. But so does Rondo. When you think about what the Clippers are missing, they don't have cohesion offensively because they don't have the mastermind running the offense. They're asking Kawhi to do something he's not there to do. He's not going to run your offense.
But Max,
Rondo, I don't get why they brought him back, why they brought him to the Clippers if they're not going to use
him.
You're
right, Max. Max, you're right about that point, but I got news for you. Rondo ain't Luka. I love Rondo.
No, of
he
course.
Ain't Luka.
Of course
he ain't
not.
No. But I'm not just talking about Luka scoring. I'm talking about, even though Rondo can run a team and galvanize a team, so can Luka.
Yep.
Look at what Tim Hardaway did. Look at what Tim Hardaway did in Game 2. Look at what Dorian Finney-Smith did in Game 1. And by the way, Max, we haven't even seen Porzingis really in this series.
Oh, don't let Porzingis
Remember when he
get
got
hot,
hurt
it's a
last
wrap.
year?
Yeah.
When he got hurt last year, he had dropped 34 in that Game 3 that they lost, and then he got hurt during that game, and ultimately he wasn't back for the rest of the series. We haven't seen him get loose in this series yet. Clippers in trouble.
Stephen A., I got something for you. You're down in Atlanta. Max, you might have to help me out with this. You guys remember, like, when I move, you move, get out the way, roll out. Stephen A., you remember things like that? I got a special message for you, Mr. Smith. Here you go. Take a listen.
Stephen A., come on, man. Just stop with the nonsense. I'm tired of it. I understand your job. You have to be entertaining, but this is real life, my brother. The Hawks stole one in Madison Square Garden. As a matter of fact, I get it. I understand why all these antics are going on. Y'all ain't been in the playoffs in forever. Matter of fact, y'all ain't been to the finals since 1999. That was last century, man. You know that Lou Will just gonna go to Magic City, eat some cooked wings, and he gonna go off. Trae Young is all about that life, as you see. So listen, man, I need you to keep that same energy because these next 2 games in Atlanta is gonna be for real. This is reality. And y'all, listen, once we win the series, you, 50, Spike Lee, everybody, y'all are invited here to Atlanta, Georgia, Magic City. I got y'all covered, man. It's on me. But let's just come to reality. Stop with the nonsense.
My brother is coming at me like that? My brother? Listen, Luda and I got together years ago and said we got to get our families together because we somehow we got to be related, even though obviously I'm older, so my hairline's worse. And that's my brother right there. I love him dearly. But this is where we part ways. Please, New York, stand up, brother. We ain't worried about him. And he had the nerve of him to bring up the Knicks in the finals in 1999. When the hell were the Atlanta Hawks in the finals?
I can't even remember.
When the hell did that happen?
I cannot remember.
Are you kidding me? Ludacris, never. Ludacris of all people is going to sit up there and run his mouth. Now, I will say this. This is where he got me. I'm taking that invitation to Magic City. He's right. I'm going to take that invitation that he gave me to come there. That's true. He invited me. I'm there. I'm there if it happens. And I'm going to order the lemon pepper wings. I ain't going to even front. But I'm telling you, sir, it ain't coming to that. We here, right here in the ATL. I'm going to be at the arena tonight, State Farm Arena at Grand Hill. Max text me talking about it's actually State Farm, because I said the Phillips Arena. He says it's actually State Farm Arena. And I said, oh, damn, I forgot Grand Hill, part owner, NBA analyst extraordinaire, Hall of Famer. But I remember now, it don't matter. Knicks coming down here to reclaim home court advantage. Now, that's going to happen, all right? It's going to happen. So Luda better get himself ready for that kind of stuff, and surprising me with that video like that. The nerve of him. But I love my brother. I love my brother Luda. No doubt about it.
He's one of the all-time greats, Stephen A.
Fast and Furious 9. Fast and Furious 9.
He's one of the all-time greats.
But Hawks going down.
But the nerve of him to bring up the Knicks record getting to the finals.
The best thing he said last century. Last century.
The Hawks.
You were focused on that.
I never remember them in the finals.
I was focused on those two words. All right, Stephen A., you have fun tonight. You be safe. You behave yourself. We'll see you on TV. And I'll talk to you Monday, sir.
New York, stand up.
Bye, everybody.
New York, stand up. New York, stand up.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing to listen to another episode of your favorite podcast. And with our top-rated app, you can deposit checks and transfer money anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC. N.A. member FDIC. N.A. member FDIC. N.A. member FDIC. N.A. member FDIC.